Oh boy, Nate, we're back again. Eromanga Sensei, every fucking week, episode 4. This show has been our show.
Yeah,
it's been
that's
pretty
right.
popular.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I've actually, this last week, I've been paying more attention to see what the community is saying, and they are saying things about it. They are aware of it. Quite aware.
Yeah, I've seen it. I mean, the view counts are great, for one thing, but I've seen it being mentioned in various places. Lots of people saying that they're only watching the show so they can watch our show. Guys, I'm just going to say now.
No, please.
I mean, well, I knew that would I mean, I didn't care. I was like, this show's going to be successful one way or another. You know, I'm not worried about directing more attention to it or anything. Fuck it. It's already going to get the attention. But I will say, you don't have to do this to yourselves. You can just watch our show. I don't think you need to see the episodes. I mean, it might help with your indignation, but we have had some commenters who said that they are not watching the show itself. They're just watching us, and they think it's even funnier to listen to us describe it, and they have to try to imagine.
Yeah,
because we make it sound funnier than it actually is to watch.
Way funnier, of course.
Like, we get so mad about it that when you actually see it, you're just like, oh, it's just a boring ass show. But when we describe it with such fury,
I get that, and I am not so apathetic to, or not apathetic, but it bothers me that I'm driving people to watch this show. That upsets me a bit. But hey, what can you do? I'm just trying to educate people.
I just know it can't be helped. I mean, so many people have watched the Asterisk
Shikata Ganai, my friend. Shikata Ganai.
Well, I wanted to kind of start us off talking about that before we even get into the episode. You were messaging me. You were bringing up that on the last episode, I asked you if you'd been on A.
Right.
And you said you were going to spend some time there and sort of spend some time around anime hangout places and get a sense for the response to this show. And you came to be a little upset about what you found.
Yeah, this whole week I've been immersing myself in trying to understand what the people are saying, because I thought to myself, there's no way that this is being well received. There's just no way that anyone actually watching this show is going to come away and say, you know what? That's a damn fine piece of entertainment I just consumed. My time was well spent watching this anime. And yet, I mean, to me, it's baffling that people really like this show. This is amazingly well received. I see people on A talking about how their waifu of the year is Sagiri, and they love every character, and oh, Elf is so wonderful. Every moment Elf is on screen, it's like a little miracle of the universe. It's what? The priorities of these people are just so vastly different from mine. These are people with nothing but time to kill. That's what these people are. And seeing some fairly cute anime girls, I guess, is enough for them to be this is great. This is good.
I think it's a matter of just completely different standards and interests that for a lot of people. Well, I'll get into this in a second. But it's been extremely well received.
Yeah.
If you go into the Reddit threads for each episode, the discussion threads, people are fucking eating it up. People are way excited, posting every screen cap of everything that is clearly made to be screen capped.
Yeah.
Every moment that you obviously know that they put that in there thinking this will be a GIF, this will be a meme, this will be a screen cap.
'Cause it's the only part of the episode that isn't boring as shit.
Exactly, but it totally works. It's all people need.
Yeah,
they just need those
so
little
well.
memes.
This is such a calculated, strategic show where it's just getting the meme factor accomplished, and based on that alone, the people, I cannot believe how much people like this fucking show and are excited to see it every week. It blows my fucking mind, but they really love it. They really love it.
I gotta tie this into something, a broader discussion.
Okay,
we're gonna get serious on this episode. We're not even Eromanga Sensei. What this is all indicative of is a bigger problem that I know you feel pretty deeply about and have really been coming into contact with lately.
Yeah.
Not to insult anything you've done or anything, but I think you'd agree with my statement that quality is 90% completely irrelevant to success.
Yeah.
I think that success is basically here's what I think is the key to success. It's knowing what people want, not giving them what they think they want, but knowing what they want and giving them that.
Of course, what people say they want is usually completely wrong. I couldn't agree more. But you
can figure it out. You know what they want. And I went on this for like months. I was talking about how the key to success on YouTube is you put a close up a cute anime girl face,
yep,
a phrase title, like a catchy phrase, and have some memes. And you did that finally on your new video and immediately got your biggest video yet.
I'd like to announce I have achieved my longtime dream of... I have never, in all my years doing YouTube, had a video that I've been associated with get over 100,000 views, except this one. I finally did it.
It broke it.
Just like an hour ago, it finally broke it.
Shit.
I'm very excited about it. Yep.
The Scalco video, which is a good video. It's fun, but one of your lower effort videos...
That's actually not true, but like the intellectual content is certainly like no more. It's very much in the same vein of everything I've been doing up to this point.
Well,
it's the same
lower
shit.
effort compared to fucking the Gurren Lagann Part 1 and 2.
Well, without a doubt, of course,
Which
yeah.
Those videos, and here's the thing, like people will say, well, quality is important because it can spread things word of mouth. Yeah, sure. Those Gurren Lagann videos are incredible, and they've been word of mouth spreading for like 2 fucking years to get up to 75,000 views, and this Scalco video passed them in like 3 days.
It was like 5 days or so, but yeah, something like that.
Because it's what people want. They want a cute anime girl. And it's funny, too, because I didn't even realize what you had done. I just clicked on the video thinking of it as a YouTube video. Like, I didn't even process that this was not your usual style until you brought it up on that podcast that you did with the PCP. And I was like, oh, shit, he actually did the thing. And what was... It was especially interesting because it was Galco. Because even though Galco was not a popular show,
not a popular show at all up to this point.
But I had this exact same experience because I made a video on After Dark called "So How Was 2016 Anime," and I used a very similar, like, bright poppy Galco screenshot, and that video got like 70,000 views out of nowhere, like totally unexpected. It was not even a good video.
Let me just say,
me stammering through a vlog.
That was a pretty good thumbnail. That was a pretty good thumbnail. But I'm coming in with the premier Galco thumbnails. That's the factor here. That's the key factor.
It's just incredible that Galco. People, no one's heard of it, but they know just from an image, it's just so bright and beautiful that they want to click on it. And the thing is about Eromanga Sensei is that I knew this was going to happen. That's why I picked this show for us to talk about. I knew this would be the big show because it already, before it started, was one of the, before the season began, it was one of the highest member counts on MAL for the season.
Right.
So before a season starts, lots of people will list something as planned to watch because they've already read the manga or they've heard of it. They know the source material. So because this was a sequel to Oreimo and it had a popular light novel, it was already popular on MAL before it even started. And just looking at the main girl and looking at the fact that it's like a sister moe show, I was like, this is going to be huge. That's all that matters is what it is. It doesn't matter the content of the show itself. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Because it's fucking dog shit.
How ironic is it, by the way, that Galco video is about looking past surface level impressions and analyzing beyond stereotypes? How fucking ironic is it that the one time I actually put some effort into branding it in a YouTube friendly way, that's when people actually give a shit and it spreads. It's amazing. It's amazing. By the way, I'd like to report a great victory was had with this video the day after it was posted. I don't know if you're aware of this, but for a short time, that video was the top of our anime. And hell, maybe it is again. I don't even know. But yeah, that was really nice. But for a while there, for a couple hours, that video was getting a little more popular. It was hovering right below a post of the ending theme dance, a clip of the ending dance from Eromanga, and it defeated that fucking clip. It defeated that fucking. That was my victory over Galco. I was so elated. I was over the fucking moon. I could not wait to bring that and talk about that on this show. And there you have it, folks. I win. Eromanga loses.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
It's wonderful.
I don't think these podcasts get posted on our anime because they like the show, and I think people are scared of the karma bomb they're gonna get if they post it there.
Probably.
So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. That this show, its success was predetermined. That's why I wanted to do a podcast on it because I was like, I know we'll get views because people will watch this fucking show. I know it's going to persist even if it's dog shit, which It is, and people. I honestly, what shocks me isn't that the show is popular; it's that there's not more of a backlash. I mean, we have a lot of it in our comments. Like, a lot of our fans think this show is dog shit, and they're just watching it to laugh at it. But even a lot of our commenters, did you see the guys who were like trying to convince us that we will eventually like the show?
I commented on those guys. I didn't reply. I think I said something on Twitter. Like, these people think we're going to come around and start liking the show. Do you understand any of the criticisms we've been making? How exactly do you think the show could, like, turn this all around? I don't know what the fuck these people know that I don't know.
Or the people who think we're being, like, contrarian by not bringing up, like, one guy was like, what? You guys are just being contrary by not bringing up any of the positive elements of the show. And I'm like, what positive elements?
We said the girls are cute. That's literally it. We covered that.
But that's the thing. God, it's just we're obviously seeing this differently.
That's right.
Like, other people are getting something out of this that we can't get out of it, and it might just be because we've seen too much.
Yeah.
It might just be that we're numb. Like, whatever this show had, like, maybe if this was the first time I'd ever seen a show like this, there'd be stuff that I'd be picking up on that doesn't seem like tired clickbait garbage to me.
Sure.
But you know, I am too old and storied for that shit.
Every anime is someone's first anime, and to that person, it'll be special and magical, and, you know, that applies to all art. But, like, come on,
I don't know how you can like this show if you've seen Oreimo.
Well,
like,
yeah, okay.
Like, one of two things has to happen if you've seen Oreimo. Either you hated that show, and therefore you have ire for this one out the gate, or you loved that show, and this one is a pale comparison. Like, how can you enjoy this if you've seen that show?
Because the girls are kind of cute, I guess. I don't know, dude. I don't have an answer.
Not nearly as cute as Oreimo.
That's true. I agree.
I will say I have seen Sagiri getting fucked in no shortage of ways.
Of course.
I've seen several animations of her getting fucked.
Hey, all right. Good work, everybody. Good work. That is what she was built for.
You know, they're all right. She's nowhere near as hot as Kirino was. Kirino was so much hotter.
And she was animated in more sexy ways. Yeah, you know, like, everything about it was better.
Did you know that Oreimo had, like, the most doujins ever?
Like, that's interesting. Yeah, I guess I'm not surprised when you know. I
remember
when
it came out, there was a time where the store, I think it was Tora no Ana, which is like a doujin store, had like they have a board where they have like what are the top selling doujins, and it was like the top 12 were all Oreimo doujins.
Yeah, I guess that's not surprising. That's quality for you, folks. It
all right, let's dive into the episode.
Okay.
I was willing to give us some head on this one because I had fewer notes than usual.
Yeah, man.
My first note is at the beginning. So Elf, the joke was that she was working by cooking him food, and that's I guess image training for her novel.
I don't know what the fuck that had like relevancy to anything. Yeah, like yes, I guess there will be some relevance to like cooking scenes in your fucking light novel. Seems like are you gonna do this for like every action that your characters take? I don't know.
I mean, I get it. I do the same thing.
I really think it's just an excuse to like cook dinner for this guy, which is like a romantic thing. I really feel like that's the point of that scene.
Yeah.
And you know.
Well, you know, obviously, in terms of what we're getting into the show, but I will say, for anybody who's read or who's listened to the audiobook of my shitty light novel, which I'm not going to link. Every time I bring it up, people ask for a link, and I'm like, no, you got to dig for that. It's on my subreddit, but you know, you've been warned. It's not public for a reason. But the character Dark Holy has one eye. And so there was a time when I was leaving school at the end of the day, and I had this like headband, and I put it over one of my eyes I could get the experience of what it's like to walk around with one eye. Walked right into a bus mirror. Just bam, directly into it. Fucking hurt. So, you know, I learned something.
Okay. Lessons can be learned through image training. Yeah. Cool.
But what bothered me about that scene is that, of course, like in every time anyone eats anything in anime, he has this big overreaction to how good it is. And I wrote, why can't it just be good? Is it funny to anyone that it's that good?
It's just an anime thing now, so they've got to do it. It's like one of those things they've got to do because this is a generic anime. That's how it felt to me. I just have to
like, there's ways to make that funny. Like, usually you do it because the food is terrible. Like, it's not as funny when the food's good. But, you have like that comedic beat where it's like there's a build up and you're not sure which way it's going to go. Is he going to say it's delicious or terrible? And then there's the big explosion, and then you could do some kind of visual. But like, I mean, if you're not going to go Yakitate Japan or Food Wars with it, then what's the fucking point?
It's like the worst beaten down trope in anime. It's up there, Like, I'm sick of it. Yeah, I didn't.
He just didn't. There just was nothing to it. It was just there to be there.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't a joke.
That's an average eating scene
funny.
in anime. That's just what they do when they eat food. They flip their shit.
So this is what I mean by like, we are tired old anime fans who've seen this shit so much that at this point I'm just like, can't you just eat food like a fucking person?
There's more of that later. Yeah. This episode is full of weird shit like that.
This is another one where, I mean, I guess this has been every episode, but it just felt like so little happened. Like, this felt like it was one scene through the whole episode.
And I love that later on we can talk about how, like, the events of the scene revealed the events of the last 3 episodes to have been a complete waste of everyone's time. But we'll get to that in a little bit.
To start with, okay, so the biggest complaint we had last time was that we didn't understand Elf's mindset towards writing, because it seemed to be suggested, like, she was being lazy, she was sitting around not doing anything.
Right.
And we were thinking that we're going to eventually see her, like, bust her ass and turn out to, like, when she actually works, she works hard.
Yep.
But then the dialogue was suggesting that wouldn't happen, because she's ranting on and on about how writing should be fun and doing art should be this magical experience and it should never be work and all this bullshit.
And then this episode comes along.
Yeah, and so she was saying that she does it as a hobby.
Right.
But then, so we see her doing serious writing, and she says to the main character guy, this is a hobby, but I take my hobby seriously.
So which
like,
the fuck is it, you dumb bitch? Do you work hard or not? Yeah, I don't know.
God. What's the fucking difference? She's like, yeah, I mean, of course, it may be a hobby, but, I put serious, I'm passionate about it. It's like, if you're passionate, then how is that not, how are you working any less hard?
Okay,
she's in a fucking tracksuit with a patch on her head, like writing intensely with dark circles under her eyes, which is exactly what I thought was gonna happen.
Right.
So what the fuck was this whole misdirect?
They were terrible writing. They were fucking around, wasting everyone's time. Of course. Yeah. Like, okay. so excusing the confusion. Like, yes, there was very bad writing up to this point. Don't understand what any of the stuff last episode was about, given the context. But see, the actual scene of seeing her busting her ass writing, that was actually like my favorite part of probably the entire show so far, and just because it showed like this is what it's like to be a creator. Yeah. It's fucking slave labor. And
that's the thing. Yeah. I love those scenes in shows.
Right, of course.
And that could have made me like her as a character. Like, that's what I thought we were gonna get, is that she's this, like, yeah, of course, she's fucking serious business. She's a hardcore author. She's rich enough to own a house. She takes her writing fucking seriously.
Right.
But then they play this whole weird game with you where they're like, oh, but she's not taking it seriously at heart, I guess.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I don't know what they're trying
to
say.
I
what are you trying? Just tell me she works hard, okay? Just tell me she's a hard worker, and I'll like her.
This is a situation where we literally know better than the writers of the show what they're going for. They're trying to say that she's a hard worker, but like what I actually liked a little bit beyond that. So like she's working hard, and she's gross, and she's like, okay, oh right, today's the manuscript's due. Wait for me downstairs. I actually really liked the detail that okay, so in that scene, she is seen like in her like work state and is all disheveled and shit. She isn't embarrassed at all about that. She's just like matter of fact, like, okay, I'm gonna finish this up now. Meet you downstairs. She then presents herself when she is ready and goes downstairs. She like is in her regalia, and she's all decked out in like the cutesy look she likes. I actually really like that and feel like that was a strong moment of characterization for her. Like, everything around it's a clusterfuck, but like if this was by itself, it would be telling me that like, okay, this is a down-to-earth, hardworking person who likes to present themselves in this like frilly, girly, magical way, and that is cool and informs the character in a way that I like. It's just surrounded by this nonsensical bullshit.
And the thing is that, like, even though that's fine as a character, I've seen this exact thing before.
Well, yeah.
You know, like, this is not new. The idea of the girl who's, like, you know, I mean, just the first one that comes to mind is Soregaseiyu, which was a show about the voice acting industry. Pretty fun show. One of the characters is this girl who has, like, this strong character she tries to put on where she's, like, all strawberry themed, and she's, like, a magical girl, and she's, like, always trying to play into this character, and, like, sell it. But, like, she has a day job because she's not a successful voice actress, which is, like, in a factory wearing, like, hardcore, like, you know, like bags over your whole body kind of look.
Yeah.
You know, like the surgeon look.
That sounds
almost.
fucking badass.
You know?
That sounds like the coolest person in the world.
Yeah. It's a fun show. But yeah. So I've seen this before.
Yeah, okay.
I do like this idea of a character, but man, it's such a curveball that they threw in before that just...
It literally does not make sense. It does not compute. These are two opposite things that we've been presented with regarding this character, and there is no rationalization that connects the two dots. It's simply, it's broken. It's a broken connection.
Yeah. So, all right. Main guy goes over to his sister. He's looking at her shit. Did you think it was weird and awkward that he, out of the blue, asks... So, how come you always draw girls with small boobs? Just throwing that out there.
Did I think it was awkward? I thought he was a little bit, like,
forward?
Like, uncharacteristically insensitive in asking the question.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
This guy, it's just that this character is... He's so unpredictable because he's so ill-defined.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, we've been saying this the whole time, that sometimes he comes off as, like, this kind of wimpy, you know, like... caring, you know, he's a hard-working guy who just wants to take care of his sister, but then other times he's like weirdly blunt and he screams and just says like inappropriate shit. And like just the idea of this, he's never talked to his sister about her art before, and the first thing he's gonna ask her is like, so why do you draw small tits, you know? Which is just to get us to this situation where he will then find out that she bases all of them on herself so that he can imagine her basing it on herself.
I know people, I've been saying people like, oh, I can't wait for them to talk about episode 4. It's gonna be something. Yeah, they do the thing, the whole, he imagines her in the fucking string underwear shit. And yes, it was exactly what the people want. Yeah.
You know? Like, I mean, I saw previews for that. Like, this is the thing. This is how fucking genius the marketing for this show is. Like, more than a day ago, before the episode was released, it was probably like 24 hours before the episode released, they had a tweet of just that scene. Like, the official account tweeted
That's
like a GIF of just that scene of her getting dressed, and I'm like, yeah, of course.
And you know what?
I mean, that's the only scene like that in the episode. Like, they're enticing you to come watch this episode for the one scene you've already fucking watched. You already got what you wanted. Just watch the fucking thing on Twitter all day and get your fucking nut and don't watch the damn show because it's boring as fuck.
I'm seeing more and more of this meme marketing where they just take like one snippet from the show and push it out there. Like I really remember it with Keijo. What was that, like 2 seasons ago or something? Like, there's that one animation clip, that one like battle clip of Keijo that made me be like, wow, this looks like the greatest show ever made. It's like this ass battle thing, and it's like beautifully animated, and there's this like creative sort of battle going on that looks really interesting, and like, yeah, that scene looks great, but then like, is anybody even talking? Does anyone even remember Keijo? I haven't heard anyone talk about Keijo since that show ended. Like,
that show, it's sad. That show apparently bombed pretty bad, even though it was actually not bad.
It was. I actually thought it got pretty boring. I only watched like episode 4 because I got bored. I found the manga much more interesting
because I don't care. But.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. It's this kind of cool bite-sized bits are no replacement for like a well-written show, and maybe that's enough. Maybe they're just trying to get that like initial bump. Maybe that covers their costs. I don't know. I don't know what the marketing goal is here, but it's not really producing great, memorable shows. So I'm not a big fan.
Anyway. I'm really wondering why the conceit of these two as siblings was ever necessary, because it's doing nothing. For, like, okay. Oh, I mean, I know why it's necessary from a marketing standpoint.
Right.
That this is an incest thing. It's taboo. It's sexy, But there's just, like, the more I ruminate on it, I'm like, I mean, I've said this every episode that, they're not brother and sister. they've met once. Like,
what,
they're not blood related.
They forget that. They have met one time before the start of the show. One time. Okay.
So they'd met once. They weren't blood related. So the entire conceit of them as brother and sister is completely meaningless. It's just a girl he's in love with who lives in his house. So then I start to thinking, well, you know, even we fell for this because we've been playing up how crazy it is that he's in love with his sister, but he's not. Because she's not his sister.
Yeah.
She's just some kid who he likes. And the more I think about it, it kind of pisses me off because it's definitely manipulative. That, like, you know, they're making you think of this as an incest show when it just objectively isn't. There's nothing incestuous about this. It's just fucking weird.
Yeah, at most it's got that weird, you know, like, they knew each other when they were kids sort of vibe going on. But like, that
not
doesn't
even,
matter.
because it was a year ago.
Yeah, it was, like, they're young, and they have, like, a blossoming young love. Like, that's really not inappropriate at all. It's just, like, kind of awkward because, like, oh, their parents got married. That's funny. But that doesn't matter.
It's only weird because she lives in his house.
Well,
you know?
I mean,
like,
there's lots of things weird. There's lots of things weird about this relationship. But, you know.
Lots of things weird about this guy.
I really want to talk about that at the end of the episode. The very last thing that happens, I find just so morally objectionable.
Oh,
but we'll get there.
There's a moment in here. I have a whole paragraph of just It's probably the part you're talking about.
Before we move past the bikini thing, I really wanted to say that there was the most baffling thing to me about this episode was that, like, Sagiri, like, makes a real point to say, like, I do not draw anything that I have not seen in real life. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Do you do you need to buy every, like, sword model before you can draw it? That really was, like, the flimsiest excuse for, like, to have her buy this kind of fancy underwear. Like, just say that, like, I couldn't draw this underwear well, so I needed to buy this one thing. You don't need to make this a, like, defining characteristic of her, because later on in the episode, she's holding a fucking AK-47 in her hand in front of a mirror as if she needs to, like, know what that looks like in the pose to draw it. Does she buy literally every prop she's going to draw? What are you doing? What are you doing with this character? It's fucking baffling. That was like a fucking bomb going off inside my brain that I was, like, trying to process the ramifications of this one throwaway line. God, get your shit together, people. It doesn't make sense. She's a fucking illustrator.
She does piss me off.
She has to see everything in real life that she draws first. That's the most retarded thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
She'll never be able to do any non-human. She'll never be able to draw, like, a Pokemon.
Yeah, how's she gonna draw backgrounds? How's she gonna draw a fucking I don't know, Mount Everest or shit? Gotta go see Mount Everest before I can fucking draw it. What is that? That's so.
I wonder if this is a criticism anyone has of her. Like, I can't help but notice you only draw things that would show up in a teenage girl's room, or, you know.
Yeah, like, that only manifests in the, like, she can only draw, you know, small breasts girl. That's, like, the only way that it's mentioned.
And then it gets, you know, she immediately gets over this hurdle. So yeah, it's really just there for this joke that, you know.
Right, that's what it's for.
She bases her characters off herself.
Dumb bitch. Dumb bitch.
I have written down in all caps that we've reached a self-insert Ouroboros because the main character of this decides he's going to write a light novel about being in love with his little sister.
Oh my God! We're going inside the dream, inside the dream! How deep does the rabbit hole go? Is the main character of that story writing about his little sister? What's happening?
I know! I bet he is!
I bet we need an anime about that, and then an anime about that. Within that anime, oh my God, we can go all day.
in Oreimo, one of the jokes was that the little sister, I mean, in that show, the little sister was obsessed with little sisters. That was kind of the meta joke.
Right.
Which was funny because it was unexpected that the little sister has a little sister fetish. Like, it was a kind of meta, it was kind of a funny meta joke. And she also wrote a light novel about little sisters, but hers was like a totally different, hers was like a post-apocalypse thing, and there was like 1,000 little sisters. In this case, we've got the author having his character literally just do what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like, this character is now the actual author of Eromanga Sensei. This was like a mind blow of a moment.
Oh my God. I can't deal with it. This fucking guy. Yeah, this is the most amazing thing I've ever heard in my life. I don't know where this rabbit hole's ending. I'm really excited to find out, though.
It ends in the grave, Nate.
Yeah, that's
when
true.
We die.
That's definitely true.
Right, what is this?
Yeah, I'm checking my notes as well. Okay, you know what? Here's another little positive. I liked hearing the dude talk about his like struggles about being afraid that he's gonna like fade into obscurity and he'll lose his popularity. You know, like that's like the there's one thread in the show that I kind of like, and it's like the struggles of being an author or like, you know, being an artist.
Well, we're predisposed to liking that because we're artists.
Of course,
you know.
So that's
I mean, like most. Oh, let's see. My favorite anime is Shirobako. My favorite manga is Bakuman. Like you know, I can't help it.
Sensing a pattern. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have written down that he's a fucking dumbass for the fact that when she's like, I don't like drawing for stories where people like die, and he's like, oh, is that because of mom and dad dying? Like, why would you bring that up?
God damn.
Shut up, you fucking idiot. Yeah. You know, like take a step back for a second and think about whether you should bring that up. I mean, she just like, she doesn't even really react. Which, I mean, she's supposedly traumatized to the point of staying in her room, although we've confirmed that she's not for that reason.
We have seen her out, yeah.
Literally no fucking reason at this point.
Yeah. And by the way, that totally like undercuts the entire like ending like special scene where she steps 1 foot out the room. Bitch, she walks out of her room every fucking day of her life. She goes to the bathroom. She does her laundry. Yeah. There's nothing special about it. Like, I get the symbolism you're going for, but it doesn't make fucking sense.
When that happened, I thought she was just going to come out of the room and eat with him. Like, I thought she was now going to leave the room because it felt like we're already past that point to me.
Baby steps, dude. Baby steps. Yeah,
But what baby steps to what? She already talks to the brother regularly. He comes into her room all the time. They have conversations. She's talked to people. Like, she doesn't have any actual reason to be in her room. So I just thought we were at the point where, it's that time now. But no, it was like a weird symbolic gesture that means nothing.
They're going to wave
here's
this.
The one...
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you say...
Oh, I was just going to say, like, they're just going to wave this, like, flag of, like, trauma. It's trauma. That's why she does, like, whatever nonsensical thing she does. There's some trauma going on. They're just going to do that until they decide that, like, okay, that's enough. Now she's going to be, whatever conclusion we come to.
Yeah. Here's the one thing that I did kind of appreciate about this episode, which is that her character arc revolves around drawing bigger tits. I'm always a fan of any time you can make, like, if you can take some kind of dumb, jokey, perverted thing and make it into a legitimate character arc, which it is. Yeah. She had a problem where she couldn't draw big tits. She learned to draw big tits so that, because she wanted to be able to draw for this dude's novel. It's a real arc revolving around drawing big titties. That's nice. I appreciate that.
I like that too. That's nice.
Though it is... Here's another note, though. She draws the big titties, and she says, here's what they look like unclothed. And she just shoves it right in his face, right?
Right.
She shoves the titties that she just drew up in his face. And then a minute later, he calls her Eromanga sensei, and she's still doing the, I don't know anybody by that name. Like,
good meme, guys. Good meme.
How can you pretend to be embarrassed about the fact that you draw porn when you're, like, showing off the porn you draw proudly, like, not even making a show of it? Like, she wasn't even embarrassed, which was cool. Like, she just sees it as, like, work. Yeah. She sees it as, I draw porn for a living. Here's what I can do for your novel, guy I work with, But then as soon as he says her literal pen name, she's like, but I don't draw erotic art. Bitch, you were shoving naked tits in your brother's face a second ago.
They're like deviating from like what makes sense in the story to like have this like meme of like her like pretending she's not Eromanga. They're gonna do it forever. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. That's her catchphrase.
It's just so she can have the catchphrase. It's fucking obnoxious.
Yeah, it fucking sucks.
Ugh.
So can we talk about So the tangible detail of what like the arc in this episode involves him like competing with his manuscript with Elf, and getting it done over like these 2 weeks, and then they have a confrontation, and so that was fine. That was fine. That like Elf.
By the way, there's no reason she can't work for both.
Oh yeah.
Like
that's true.
Everyone in this story works fast as shit.
Yeah.
She's just I mean, I would assume the illustrations take less time than writing the novels, but given this show, everyone writes novels in literally a day.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, like, why can't she just draw for both of them? That's normal.
What?
The guy who draws Masamune-kun's Revenge has enough time to draw the art that she does in the show, so clearly it's doable.
I guess it's like that weird, like, they always do that shit in anime where they have contests for things, and like I guess having Eromanga is like an advantage, and like they don't want the other person to have that advantage because they want to like win over them. I guess there's like some professional rivalry shit going on.
I can see it if they had established something like the publisher doesn't want them both to have the same artist.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Cannibalizing the competition, like competing with yourself.
Yeah, like this is a
They're
personal
both in the same
thing.
Publisher.
They've decided this is how it's going to be. Like one of them's going to get it.
There's reasons this could have happened, but like the idea that she just can't work for both for no reason, I'm like, they didn't think this through,
That's, yeah. They're just, I don't know, like, I could wave it away as I would with, like, every anime that does this. Like, oh, they're being funny kids, and they're like, oh, they're making it a big contest. But it's, like, it's retarded. Yeah, you shouldn't do that. Kids, just don't do that shit. Be a reasonable human being. Act like a human being, which is a thing that, like, they don't do a lot in the show. There's not a bunch of that going on.
All right, are we barreling towards the ending here? Because that's the last note I have, is the scene that... pissed me off to no end.
God, I had a bunch of notes here. Is there anything important in any of these?
Go ahead, say them all. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, okay. Okay. So I just wanted to point out that Elf wrote her book in one day. So okay, impressive.
Ostensibly, yeah.
Pretty good. And then so the two of them present their books, and Elf decides that the other guy's is better, like wins. So she shreds her book, which is like the only copy. It's like the only copy of that light novel that exists. So she has just decided to flush this shit. Like this woman, who we know values moments of inspiration, and presumably wrote this at such a time, just destroyed it and destroyed any of the benefits that would come along with making a new novel, which our hero, our hero main character dude, assures us was a quality piece of work. I mean that's. Okay, like, you can do that, but I just want to point out that that's retarded. Like, you can do it, but it is retarded. So that's your character. That's your character.
I mean, for what it's worth, she wrote the novel all around the idea that Eromanga Sensei would draw it. So maybe she thought, if I can't have Eromanga Sensei, then this novel is its existence is pointless.
Like, again, you can do that, but it's the same like rules you're making up for yourself as with the whole like getting her to do it, or only one of them gets to do it. Like, just it's.
Can't she just hold on to it for a year?
I guarantee in a year.
When Eromanga's done with his book, then he can do hers.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Something.
Okay, like I get that it's tied to like the fact that she lost. She feels like, oh, this is inferior. Like this doesn't deserve to get made because we had this contest and I lost. But like that's just you're wasting everyone's time. You're wasting your own time most of all by doing that shit. And you can do it, but it's retarded. Okay.
It is.
Let's talk about the ending.
And it's another one of those things. It's a thing that this show does all the time, where it breaks suspension of disbelief, but it's not funny. It's just confusing.
Yeah.
Like it's just. I get that this, like, I understand how this makes sense as a joke, but it's not a funny joke, and therefore it just makes me think, what is this world? Who are these people?
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Also, there was a scene earlier in the episode, where the guy, the elf just says, like, oh, by the way, like, you are in love with your sister. You are in love with your sister. And he goes like but like, he seems to get over that real fast and is just like accepting it. So at that point in the show, we now know he is aware he is in love with his sister, and we're done. Yeah. We're done with all that. Established. Okay, so there's no more caginess about it. He wants to pound that shit like meatloaf. That's what he's looking for. Okay.
Is that your last note?
Yeah. I mean, the rest are kind of tied into the ending, so we'll get to that shit.
Okay. So, oh man, Nate. One of the most annoying things in all of anime, and this pervades the entire medium. It pervades especially romantic comedies, especially with teenagers, is misunderstandings.
Oh, that word! Most
most conflict in romantic comedy shows is based around misunderstandings. And it's infuriating because usually the audience knows the truth. And sometimes a show will just carry it on forever, and it, you know, you can make it funny, and sometimes it's just done to have that sitcom effect. Like, you watch Ranma One Half, the characters, if you watch the first arc of Ranma, the first 16 episodes, it's like making progress as a romantic comedy, and then that just stops. And it becomes that the characters will never understand one another because the show has to go on for 160 episodes.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
any romantic progress they make will be killed by the general misunderstanding that is, you know, that is the backdrop of the whole show. Until the day comes that we're ending the series and we can finally let them get together.
Same with
this happens with a lot of anime, and it's always frustrating. But what gets me the most is when the characters almost seem to do it deliberately, where they phrase things in such a way that could only be misunderstood. And this is probably the single worst example I've ever seen. This is the most insane moment of what the fuck were you thinking that I've ever fucking seen. Because the little sister, Sagiri, reads this novel, and she's being all touched, and she's all into it, and she just looks up at her brother and says... I'm in love with someone.
Yep.
I'm in love with someone. What the fuck were you thinking? And I'm just... I'm so blown away. I'm so blown away by this. And the only conceivable reason for this to happen is to create a misunderstanding so that they won't... Because he's moved too fast. The author has moved too fast. He's got the main character he's already admitted is in love with the girl. And the girl who has no other people in her life at all.
Dude, that's what really got me about that line. Just by process of elimination, dude, you can tell who she's talking about. There's only one human being in her life. Come on, you can figure this out, dude.
There's only one person in her life. There's nothing else there. Like... Obviously, she likes him, and the problem is that this story it has to go on. She can't just be in love with her brother right at the beginning and progress a relationship, because where's the show going to be if you do that? But, like...
Oh, my God. I can't believe he doesn't understand. I can't fucking believe it. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
It's less infuriating to me that he doesn't get it. It's more infuriating to me that she would say this.
That she would phrase it that way, yeah.
Because what the fuck is he supposed to think? What would if you're telling the person you love, I'm in love with someone?
That's not wrong. Like, that's
why would you?
Third person, dude. Third person's not going to help in this situation.
Why would you ever say it? Like, I mean, the obvious thing is that she doesn't want to say that she's in love with them yet. She's not ready. Then why say anything? Because now you've just put it in his head that you love someone else. Because that's the only thing you could imply.
There's
nothing else you could imply. If I said to you, Nate, I love someone,
I'd assume it's not me. There's no way I'd assume it was me.
Yeah, exactly. Why would you ever use that phrasing unless it's not you? And if you're telling this to the person that you do love, what do you think they're going to do?
Okay, I mean...
They're just gonna think you love someone else.
The most charitable version of this we can possibly take away is that, like she is being a capricious child and is, teasing by saying this shit. But
if she has an ulterior motive, if this is a plan, if she's got some kind of scheme, then maybe... And that could be the case, because the ending of the episode has all this weird fucking implying vague bullshit, like... When she steps out of her room and stuff, and she's all like, "Oh, you're always inspiring me," blah blah blah, and all this shit, and I'm just like, "What is this?" Like, just tell me what I already know, which is that you love him, and that this show can be over, and I can stop watching it now.
For the show, there's more. like Occam's razor, right? Occam's razor is what you need to understand the show. Just don't worry about the things the characters are saying. Don't worry about what the director is showing you. We know what is intended here. There is a guy who loves his sister. There's a little sister who is obviously in love with him, and they're going to present us misunderstandings. Nobody be confused that there's anything deeper going on here, because there isn't, and it's so obvious. It's just wasting your time. Like, that's all that's happening. It's presenting confusing information to try to distract you.
Like, even if it was that she's actually in love with someone else, why would that come up in this scene? It's everything about the scene says, like, she's been we know that she's been inspired by the brother before. We have suspicions that she's the one who drew the first fan art for him. Like, they basically incited one another's careers. Right. Like, they both inspire one another. They've both have this long-standing admiration for one another. He made this big effort to prove his love for her, which, as Elf said, if you read that novel, you can tell that he's in love with her. Right. And clear. She read it and liked it, got inspired by it, and said, I'm in love with someone. Like what else could it mean? What else in the whole universe could it mean?
We understand that book is a love letter to the girl. He then gives it to the girl, and, like, clearly this is like a romantic thing. This is his confession of a sort. And she says that shit, I'm in love with someone. This is a delaying tactic. This is a delaying and a misdirecting tactic just to keep the show going. Yeah. Like, we're done. There is nothing new to be learned of the show. We know they love each other.
We can go episode after episode after episode of main character guy not being sure who she likes. He's trying to support her because he still loves her and it's his sister, you know, and he's like, oh, well, I gotta help, but it's gonna frustrate him. He's gonna have this whole character arc based around this misunderstanding. For what? Just
to come back here, to come right back to this spot and just correct what she said. Right. To correct her fucking grammar, and then we'll be done.
Yeah. Oh man, that's probably one of the most frustrating moments I've seen in anime in a long time.
Yeah, it was gold, man, pure gold.
I really pure masochistic gold. Blind rage.
By the way, there was another sort of facet of this I just wanted to point out that comes up, I believe, in an earlier scene, and it was just that. So Sagiri. Okay, so Sagiri doesn't know that the next door neighbor is Elf Yamada, this famous author. She doesn't know that. Elf knows that, the little sister's Eromanga, but Sagiri doesn't know that. So, like, in her head, she is, she's obviously jealous. It's super clear. She is sexually jealous of the neighbor because to her mind, she sees a cute girl moved in next door, and now her brother is going over, like, every day just to hang out. And because of the crazy situation they found themselves in, he, like, doesn't want to tell her the truth about who that is because, like, he's afraid she's gonna, like, go work with her for art, even though she could easily work with both. That doesn't matter. That's fine. But the real amazing thing about this is that. So, okay, we have it is clear that both of these people are in love with each other. The brother and sister, they love each other. But what Sagiri says is that, oh my God, this fucking blows. This honestly was more disturbing to me. It was that she sees the brother going over and hanging out with this girl, and then he comes back, and when she finally confronts him about it, what she says to him is, big brother, I've been scared that girl you've been seeing, I've been scared that she's going to be your new illustrator. I've been terrified that hot new neighbor girl who you've seen naked, I've been scared that she's going to be your new goddamn illustrator. Like, she doesn't mention any romantic shit at all. And there's no evidence that person is even an artist at all. She doesn't know anything other than it's a girl. Why would you make that assumption?
She said she drew that conclusion because he'd never meet someone like that unless it was for work.
I noticed that line, and I don't believe it. It's retarded. It doesn't make any sense. I reject
Never mind that she's just a neighbor. Incidentally, our commenters pointed out that they do show her moving in episode 1.
Oh, really? Oh,
so
that's good.
Yeah, there's like a shot of her moving in, which means that indeed they just didn't notice that someone had moved into that house for days.
Yeah, they didn't notice despite moving vans, people, setting shit up.
Which we know they could have saw because they were on screen while the other characters were on screen.
But it's a ghost, you guys. It's a ghost. This just proves that, shit like ghosts is just people being retarded and not paying attention to things. Ghosts aren't real, folks. Wake the fuck up.
Stay woke.
Stay woke, y'all. Okay, anything else to say about this shit? I'm just checking over my notes.
I always erase my notes after I talk about them.
I just scrolled down.
I've got a whiteboard.
Oh, that's right. And I should get one of those. Okay. I just wanted to comment on how disturbing. So, okay, romantic shit confirmed. I just want to point out on how disturbing I find this, like, romantic relationship. So, this is a girl who is 14 and is trapped in a room, and, like...
I think she's actually 12.
Oh, is she 12? Really? Oh,
yeah, I think she's 12.
Well, okay, you know, regardless of the case. So, she is in love with this dude, and I don't have a problem with that. But what is kind of creepy to me is the fact that, like, this is her, like, sole provider who gives her everything. So, like, imagine being a person who only knows one person, and this person is your sole, like, human contact in the world. And, like, I understand why you'd form strong relationship with them, but it's like a fatherly relationship. And this all culminates in the fucking last line of the episode, which just got my piss fucking boiling. And it's this big it's this romantic scene where she looks down lovingly at her fucking brother who does everything for her in this fucking world, and she says, "You know what, brother? I'm getting a little hungry." And he smiles. Oh, does he smile at the thought? Okay, I got the message, sister. I understand what you're saying to me. And he goes down and he fucking cooks for her like a bitch. She does not love this man. This man is a tool for resource providing. That's all he is to her. I'm red pilled as fuck right now, dude. She's just using you. She's just using you, dude. And it's not really her fault. It's just like, this is not real love. This is a girl who sees, like, she's fallen in love with, like, the robot that gives her food every morning. That's like what this is. There's no real relationship here. I mean, I know they're mixing in the fact that, like, clearly they're gonna explain the backstory that, like, when he was, like, young and was writing his first novel, like, this was gonna be the girl who, you know, had encouraged him or whatever. Like, that's gonna be the twist. I saw it coming episode 1 or whatever. I know they're going to explain that there's, like, more romantic shit going on, but just in context, this is the provider of, like, every aspect of her life and the only person she knows in the world. And to define that relation, to add the romantic, imagine, like, being romantically tied to someone who does everything for you. Like, what if the relationship goes sour? You're fucked. It's just terrible. Don't do it, people. Don't do it. I don't know. This is just really, I see bad things going on here. In the real world, this would be a very, very bad idea, but nobody cares about that. This is a fetish show. That's what this is. So, you know what? Enjoy it as much as you want, people. This is a fantasy world. Enjoy your fucking, little sister fucking. I wish you all the best. Have fun with that. And that's it.
Yeah, hold on. I'm checking something right now. Just to be sure. I'm checking something in the episode.
Okay. Something I was just talking about? I want to be accurate here. Oh, okay.
No. Something I'm going to talk about.
God, the way she, like, she doesn't even say, excuse me, would you, like, I'm hungry. Could you please make me something? She just says, I'm a little hungry. Like, the passive aggressiveness and that fucking smile and the fucking romantic music that comes on as she says, like, you know, in other words, go make me a fucking food, you little bitch. Like, this is your job. This is what you do. Nah, don't like that. Just be respectful. It's disrespectful. That's what that is. Not a fan.
Yeah. I'm trying to check exactly. I'm trying to figure out how long it took Elf to write this book.
I thought she said that she did it, like, didn't he comment and say, like, you just started that, like, yesterday? So I thought it was, like, one day.
Okay, yeah. Indeed, it seems as though she wrote it in a day.
He says it after that epic joke about, oh, I'm a magical girl who summoned it from Satan.
So I'm going to go ahead and say, because this show, I'm getting pissed off watching these two fucking children write these novels in a day, constantly. So I said, fuck it. I'm going to write a light novel as fast as Elf Yamada.
Oh my God.
In between episodes of this podcast.
Oh my God.
By the time we record the next episode of this podcast, I will have written and probably recorded an audiobook of a light novel.
Holy shit.
And I will post it on this channel. So everybody look forward to that.
Wow, this show is coming to life. This show is taking a life of its own.
Now, for the record, I'm going to write this on the level of quality of a light novel.
I hear you, dude. I hear you.
So, as long as it's as good as I imagine that Elf and what's his fucks books are.
I don't
Do
know
either
what
of us know his name?
I have no idea.
We've never said his name.
I've noticed
on the show.
never remember male names in anime for some reason.
Because who cares?
Yeah, because who cares? Who gives a shit? Except
so yeah, by the next episode, I will have written. Now, keep in mind, because you might be thinking, but those guys have school, so isn't it even more impressive? Well, I'm about to go upstate tomorrow to look at RVs, because I might be moving into an RV in the next week or so. I'm going to be probably, I don't know, helping Ben move out in a week. So I got plenty of shit on my plate.
Yep,
I got to do my job. But I'm still going to write a light novel, so look forward to it.
Well, goddamn. I could already see it in my head. And then he caressed her big boobs and unbuttoned her tight-fitting blouse. Oh, my God. This is gold. This is already gold, dude. I can't wait.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we're done then. That's the end.
Yeah. All right. See you next week.
Bye, everybody.